Welcome back to the Optum Care Community Center. It's Ben here again, and today we have a really special treat. Rich Crislip is going to join us, and he's going to give us a presentation titled, What You Feed Grows. There's a presentation that really goes into the power of our thoughts. This is a great conversation, great presentation. I hope you enjoy it as much as I know I do.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Rich Crislip, and welcome to this segment of Healthy Minds. Today we're going to be talking about the power of our thoughts. And this is an important topic because as we all know that your mind has a huge impact on your emotional as well as your physical health. And it's important for all of us to really manage our minds well and to kind of learn skills and tools and how to do that. So today we're really focusing in on an area that I believe that we have the greatest influence, that we can make the biggest impact on the health of our minds by just focusing on how we better manage our thoughts. So to begin, our thoughts, let's talk a little bit about what our thoughts are. Number one, our thoughts feed our emotions. Basically, it's what we feed grows. You know, whatever emotion we're feeling, whether it be happiness or anger or joy or sadness or fear, those emotions get bigger or they get smaller by how we're feeding those emotions with our thoughts. So I want to talk about today on how our thoughts need to be managed. And the first thing that we need to think about with our thoughts is that there are two kinds of thoughts. There are rational thoughts and there are irrational thoughts. Now you're probably wondering, what does that really mean? Because those definitions can be hard to find sometimes, but the easiest thing to say about rational and irrational thoughts is that one is real and one is unreal. See, rational basically means what is real. It is. And irrational means it is unreal. So I'm going to give you a very basic example, a very simple example of what a rational thought is. So, this is a rational thought. I am sitting here talking to you. Now, why is that rational? Answer out loud, because it's real, right? I'm sitting in this chair, I'm talking to you. That's obviously happening. There's no argument around that. That is a real event. Now I'll give you an example of what an irrational thought is. I should be standing and talking to you. I should have stood. I should be standing here instead of sitting. Now, why is that irrational? Is that real? Am I standing here? No, I'm not standing here. I'm actually sitting here. So I've created an unreal event in my mind. I've said, I should be doing something else. And in my mind, that is what is irrational because it's unreal. And we do that to ourselves all day long. How oftentimes when things that happen that are irritable to us or make us angry, or when people do things to us that we don't like, or act in a way towards us that we don't approve of, or when things don't work out the way that we had planned, or the way that we had hoped, or when we get bad news or bad events happen, we automatically think that should not have happened, or he should not have said that to me, or she shouldn't have done that, or this should have worked out better for me. We create unreal circumstances in our minds when things don't meet our expectations. And what that does is that freezes us in time because there's no activity in the unreal. It's unreal. It's like your tires spinning in the mud. You can't go forward with that because there's no action to it. There's nothing that can happen to it. So instead, what we tend to do is that we actually create new realities in our mind. We actually distort things. I'll give you an example. Same example I use. I should be standing here talking. You know, they know that I prefer to stand. They're doing this on purpose. They know that I am much better standing, and I think they do this because they don't like me. Or I think that they do this because I think I heard them talking about this in plan. In fact, I think they planned this all along. You know, they don't want me to be comfortable. They never want me to be comfortable. You see what we all do? In our minds, when we create the unreal, we have to fill in the gaps with our assumptions and what we create in our minds that we have really absolutely no idea what other people are thinking. We don't know what their motivations may have been. We don't know what circumstances there are, but we create them in our minds when we go into the unreal. So instead, stay in the real, stay in the what is. If something should happen that doesn't meet your expectation, instead of saying, oh, that should have been this way, stop yourself. Because that's what it requires. This is the hardest thing. And we all do this. And why do we all do this? Because we're just primed for it. We just can't help ourselves. It's that illusion of control, I guess, is that we just want things to work out the way we want it to be. And we want other people to treat us the way we want to be treated. And we don't want bad things to happen to us. And so when bad things do happen, or when people don't always treat us in the way we want, or when things don't work out the way that we want them to, we just automatically negatively think that it should be another way. And all that does to us is it creates anxiety, it creates anger, it creates fear, it creates despair. And we feed these emotions with those thoughts of, this should not have happened, and we build assumptions that build these emotions more and more. So if we want to let go of these negative emotions of anger and fear and resentment and bitterness and jealousy, those kind of emotions that actually harm us in a way that is in our minds as well as our bodies, one way to do that is take a look at how you're feeding those emotions. Are you being real in your thoughts? Are you accepting what is real and then taking action on it? You can say, yes, I would have preferred this bad thing not to happen, but sometimes bad things happen. And I need to accept it, and now I can work with it because I'm in the real and I can take action. Or perhaps I would have preferred this person not drive this way, act this way, say these things, vote this way, believe this way, but I don't have control over other people, and it is what it is. I accept that. I may not like it all the time, but I accept it. And what that does is that shrinks those emotions that are really negative and hard on our bodies. Again, like emotions of fear and anger and resentment. It shrinks those down and allows us to have a better idea what we need to do to handle each situation. Because most of the situations that happen to us are not life-threatening. They're not going to ruin our day. They're not going to ruin our lives. They're not going to ruin our relationships. These are just irritating things that happen day by day. So when you're feeling those anger emotions, you're feeling those stressors, ask yourself, what am I feeding in? What are my thoughts? Am I being real? Am I living in the should've, the would've, the could've? Or am I living in the what is? And then how am I feeding those emotions? So thank you for joining us today, and I hope that you all put some time into managing your thoughts and separating those out and deciding what's rational and what's irrational, and deciding I'm going to fall on the rational side. I'm going to fall on the real side, and I'm going to clear out those thoughts that tend to create bigger and negative emotions. Thank you again for joining. We'll see you next time.